Hello guys, this is Rahul again. In today's tutorial, I am going to show you how to install and configure Microsoft deployment tool on Windows Server 2019. And we also going to see how to deploy Windows 10 using the Microsoft MDT. So the first thing is we need to install a few tools from Microsoft. One of them is Windows Assessment and Deployment Kit. So where you can find that, if you just Google it Windows ADK, you can go to that link, download and install Windows ADK, and you can go down here. The one that I am looking for is for Windows 10, so that should be in the previous versions. I'm going to go here and this is the version, the latest one that I'm looking for actually. So I have downloaded Windows ADK for Windows 10 version 2004, and I also need the Windows pre-installation environment kit, which is here. So we have to download both of these here. And the third tool that we need is Microsoft Deployment Toolkit, which is available on Microsoft website here. You just type in Windows MDT and you will see that there is a download button here. So all three of these I have already downloaded and they are into my downloads here. Actually they are into my temp folder here. So let's start installing and then we can see like how to install this. So I'm going to run the WinADK setup first. So this is the Windows Assessment and Deployment Kit, which has so many features and we're going to see them. So as you can see, this file is really small, only like 2 MB. So this does not contain all the details. So what it does actually, like it goes to Windows Microsoft website and then downloads everything and install it. You can also download like offline version and then install it on the install it offline. But I'm going to use this option, install the Windows Assessment and Deployment Toolkit on this computer. I'm going to click next here. So this is the Windows Kit's privacy message, and I'm going to say no here. I don't want to send any data to Microsoft. Next. This is the license agreement. You can read it or just accept it. Now the next screen, we see that these are all the tools that Microsoft installs by default. I'm not going to make any changes right now because we need few of them, not all of them. We need deployment tools, we need user state migration tools, we might also need the user performance toolkit. So I'm going to keep all as is and install it. So this will take some time, depends on your server speed and configuration. I'm going to pause the video right here and I will start again like when this is done. So as you can see that we successfully installed Windows Assessment and Deployment Kit for Windows 10. I'm going to close this one, and the next thing we're going to install is Windows PE, which is like Windows pre-install environment. I'm going to right click and run as administrator again. This is exactly going to do the same thing that it did for WinADK. So I'm going to choose the first option. This tool takes a little time, so I'm going to pause the video when we start installing. So I'm going to say again no here on the privacy and go through this license agreement, accept it. And this is what we are installing, Windows pre-installation environment, Windows PE, and there is no option to uncheck any of these, so I'm going to install everything. It's a 5.5 GB, so let's start installing. I'm going to pause the video here. This will take like few minutes, and then I will start again like when this is done. Okay, so we have successfully installed Windows Assessment Deployment Toolkit and the pre-installation environment add-ons here. I'm going to close this. The next thing we have to do is install the Microsoft Deployment Toolkit in this server. This is the Windows Server 2019 that I'm using right now. I will right click and click install here. This is a very small tool, so it's not going to take a very long time. So I will stay with you here. I will accept the end user agreement and click next here. So it will install some documents and tools itself. I'm going to say next here. Okay, it's a customer experience improvement program. I do not want to join this program, so I'm going to say I'm going to click this radio button next here and ready to install. So far we installed WinADK, WinPE and Microsoft Deployment Toolkit. Okay, so the next thing we are going to install is Windows Deployment Services, which is built into the server. So all we have to do is like go into Server Manager, click on Manage here and add the WDS as a server role. I'm going to click next here. Use the role-based or the feature-based installation. This is my server, so I'm going to click next here and I'm going to find WDS here, Windows Deployment Service Tools. This is one of the required feature for this MDT deployment, so we have to add this. It works in conjunction with MDT, so I'm going to add it here and click next. I'm going to keep all the defaults. I don't want to add anything else here, so next. Okay, here it's going to tell you that you should have the DHCP and DNS service available on your network, which is I already have it. I have the domain running DHCP and DNS on the different server. So I am going to skip that part here and click next. This is going to deploy the two of the features, the deployment server and the transport server. We can talk about this into the future video. I'm not going to explain this right now, but these two features are required, so I'm going to click next. I will say restart if it is required. I'm going to click yes here and click install. Okay, here we are. The WDS service tools installed successfully on this machine, so I'm going to close this and minimize this. So if we go into the start menu here, we will see some new tools installed here, Microsoft Deployment Toolkit as well as Windows Kit. First of all, we will go into the WDS server, and then we will launch the WDS, and then we will configure it. So let's go back here. Windows Deployment Service, and this is under Tools. I'm going to click on it. So as you can see that currently the Windows Deployment Service is not configured. I'm going to go to the server here, and you can see that this is the server that we have to deploy this Windows Deployment Service with. So to configure it, we have to right click and then say configure server. it's going to do the same thing. It's going to ask for before you log in, before you begin, ensure that the following requirements are set: Active Directory domain services and DHCP and all these things. So I already have it, so I'm going to click next here. This is my standalone server. This server is not on the domain, so I am going to choose the standalone server here. So click next here. Okay, so I only have the C drive on this particular machine, so I'm going to use the C drive remote install. This is going to create a folder and configure this WDS services inside. So I'm going to say next here. This is just for the demo purpose, but if you have the if you want to actually deploy these services, like it's better to have like a separate volume, like a D drive or E drive. This is where like you can install this. Okay, this is the next is Pixie server initial settings. I will keep this as is. Actually, sorry, this is I'm going to choose this respond to all clients here. So when it boots, like it's going to respond, this server is going to respond. And I'm not going to check this option require administrator approval for unknown computers, because this is just for the demo purpose. I'm going to click next here. I do not want to add the image right now to this server. I just want to configure it. So I'm going to uncheck this option and finish it. So as you can see that the server is started already, is showing green here, but we do not have anything here. So the next thing we have to do is like go to our Microsoft Deployment Toolkit and launch the deployment workbench. This is where we're going to do most of our work. So I'm going to click on this. Now if you see under the deployment share, we do not have anything right now. So we have to create the new deployment share, and I'm going to click next here. So again, like I do not have the D drive, so I'm going to use the C drive for deployment share folder. So this is going to create deployment share folder somewhere here onto the C drive. I will click next here. So as you can see, like it's creating the share name, deployment share $. I'm going to keep this as default. The $sign means that this will be the hidden share, and it's going to be like RP server, because the server name is RP server. So / RP server deployment share. This is going to be the UNC path. I'm going to click next here. I will keep the descriptive name same, MDT deployment share. I will click next here. Now this next screen, it is asking us to choose these options. Ask if the computer backup should be performed, ask for the product key, ask to set the local administrator password, ask if the image should be captured, BitLocker should be enabled. I will keep everything as is. You can set these properties later on as well, like you can change this. I will go next here. So this is confirming that whatever we have selected already. I will click next here. And this is how we create the deployment share. So if you click on the deployment share, which is MDP deployment share, you can see that C deployment share here. And if you go to the C drive, you will see that deployment share is created, and all these folders created inside. Same thing with the remote install. The next thing we have to do is we have to have the operating system to add it here, so we can deploy that operating system into uh, into different computer using the Pixie or EFI boot. So the operating system I have it is in the C drive temporary folder. What I have to do is ISO image, so I have to mount it somewhere. I have the D drive where I can mount it onto the DVD drive. So I'm going to right click on this and mount it, so it can be added to the MDT deployment share here. So now let's right click here and import the operating system. Okay, so it's asking us like to choose one of these options: full set of source files, custom image file, Windows deployment service images. I do not have those. I have the full set of source file, which is like a DVD kind of thing. I have the ISO file, so I'm going to keep this and click next here. Now it's asking us where is this source located, so I'm going to go and select that option. Click OK here. Click next here. This is where you can change the name, or if you can say this is Windows 10. If you don't want to keep this long name here, but I will keep this as default right now, Windows 10 Enterprise. Click next here. So this is the summary of whatever we have set up here. Click next. So this is going to bring the whole operating system into this deployment share. This is where it's going to bring the operating system from the temporary folder. I am not going to go through all the options here. Like under the MDT deployment share, you can do so many things. You can add the applications, you can add the out-of-box drivers, you can add the PowerShell or the batch scripts here, and that is something I am going to cover into the next video that I am going to create. Okay, so the process is completed successfully here. I am going to finish this. So if you go under the operating system, now we will have the operating system listed here. The operating system extension is WIM file, Vim file, and we can use this file to deploy the Windows 10. The next thing we have to do is go to the task sequence here and create a new task, so we can deploy the image. So the new task, the first thing is going to ask for the task sequence ID. I am going to say this is Windows 10 x64 because this is a 64-bit OS. Here I can write a little bit long description here. Windows 10 ENT x64, and I can do the same thing here. Click next. So there are so many things here, but I am not going to go into the detail here. I am just going to use the standard client task sequence here. There are other options as well that you can use here, but let's stick to this for this, otherwise the video will be very long. I'm going to click next here. So the operating system is right here. We can just click next here and then not sure why it's showing the two instances here, but I think there are two options here. One is for Windows 10 IoT Enterprise and one is for the Windows 10 Enterprise. I'm going to choose the Windows 10 IoT Enterprise here and click next. Alright. Specify the product key here. So the next screen is showing if we have the product key. I do have the product key that I can use it here for multiple activation, but I do not want to use it right now. This is just for the demo, so I'm not going to use this key here, and I'm going to keep the defaults here. So if you have the MA key, K key, that means the multiple activation key, all you have to do is like add the key only one time here, and then it will activate the machine every time automatically. You do not need to enter the key and or activate the machine individually. Okay, so the next thing is asking about the OS settings. Full name, you can say like whatever you want here. You can say put your name here, organization name, ITS, and this is the Internet Explorer's homepage. If you want to keep it blank, like, or you can say this will be my homepage, google.com. Click next here. The admin password, I am going to add the admin password here, so I know that what password I'm entering here, and this is going to be your local admin password, local administrator account password. Okay, you can skip the password if you want to enter it later, that is also possible. I'm going to click next here. Alright, so we have created the task here. If you go into the properties here onto the task, there are so many things you can change it. You can go here, and then there are tons of things you can do here, like you can partition the table operating system. So this is something you can do it here. This is I'm going to cover everything into the next video, where I partition the drive into like 2 or 3 partitions. I'm going to add some PowerShell and the batch script. I am also going to add some GPOs. So all this can be done here. You can automate so many things here. Actually, you can automate everything. There will be like only one click, and you can install everything through this task. Under the OS, this is what it looks like. So I will keep everything as is for now. Enable the task and click apply here. Okay, so the next thing we have to do is go to the MDT share and go to properties and make sure that all the properties are selected properly. Since we are installing x64, I am not going to check this option, x86. I don't want the 32-bit OS. Under rules, this you can automate so many things. I have done it like in my production environment. I am going to share that in my next video. But for now, I'm not going to make any changes here. I will keep everything default. Under the WinPE, you can see that it's after this, like, it's going to create a live touch PE EXI ISO file, which can be used to deploy that image. Okay, and I'm going to enable the monitoring for this deployment share. So after making these changes, there is one more thing actually I want to show you, that the bootstrap INI. This is where you can automate some of the pre-configured things like passwords and username and other stuff here. So that will help you eliminate like some of the clicks on the screen. But that I can share it onto the different video. Let's get over this. After doing this, I'm going to click apply here and right click again, and we have to update the deployment share. Every time we make any changes into the, sorry, let me go back here. Every time we make any changes into these properties here, we have to update the image. So that will update the actual image like while deploying. So I will click next here. And this is the first time we are doing it. So I am going to say like, let's completely regenerate the boot image. Not like optimize only the update process. So I'm going to click next here. Okay, click next again here. This is going to create the boot image for MDT. Here we go. So everything went well. I'm going to say finish here. And if we go back and check onto the server where the deployment share is, we see that it created the live touch pex64.vim WMI file. So the last step that we have to do is add this WMI file into the WDS server. So I am going to go back to the WDS server one more time. And you can see that there is no boot image here. So into this server we don't have to install the images, we just have to add the boot image. I am going to add the boot image here, browse it, and it is located into the deployment share boot, and here it is. Okay, I'm going to keep the same name. I will keep the name Live Touch Windows PEX64. That's fine. Click next. Next. And we added the image successfully here. So you will see that we have the image here. Now all we have to do is boot one of the machine, the physical machine or the virtual machine on the network, and make sure that the installation goes well through this MDT. Okay guys, so I am into the machine where I have this VMware workstation player installed. I'm going to create the new virtual machine here, and I will make sure it boots from the MDT server and it deploys the Windows 10 image that we installed into the MDT server. So I'm going to create the new virtual machine now. So this is going to boot from network, so I'm going to use this option. I will install the operating system later. I will click next here. This is the Microsoft Windows, so I am going to use Windows 10 here. I will change the path because I have space into the D drive. Going to create a test 10 PC here. Okay, so my virtual machine will be created here under the D drive where I have lots of space. Click next here. I will keep the same name, virtual machine name. I can use 100 GB for the disk space here, and I will say that keep the single file only, not the multiple file, because the single file is faster than multiple files. So I'm going to click next here. This is how it's going to be, and let me customize the hard drive because I want to increase the memory here to at least 8 GB. Okay. I want to change this to bridge connection. I can replicate the physical network. Instead of 2 processors, I will use 4 processors here. Okay, I think this looks good now. So I'm going to close this and click finish. Okay, so I have the machine here. I'm going to play and then I want to see that it's booting from the network. Here you go. So you found the IP here. 10.0.139 is my MDT server. So you're going to the live touch PE X64 Vim and then start installing this Windows 10 from there. So the first thing happens is going to be the bootstrap process, where it's going to read the bootstrap file. We can customize that file and make it more user friendly, so it will not ask for all these clicks here. I'm going to click here, run deployment wizard. Okay, we can eliminate all these things into this is asking for the network credentials where my MDT server is. Okay, the next thing we have to select the operating system. I'm going to select Windows 10 here. That is the only operating system I have on this text MDT server. Okay, so here is like you can add like a machine to the domain if there is no domain. I don't want to edit the domain, so I will keep the verbal only. I do not know any data, so I will select this option. This all dialog box can be eliminated into the custom settings.ini file, and I will show you like in my next video. So you don't need to click all these things, and it will 100% it will automate the image deployment. Okay, next. This is all this stuff is coming from the task sequence. So if you set up the parameters like where you want to get like a 100 GB hard drive, C drive, and the registry is the D drive, you can do that over there. Created the partition, it is injecting the drivers, and now it is installing the operating system here. Taking some time here. Thank you everyone for viewing.